It's morning, and that means it's time for Rotten Mornings. The best way to start your morning off rotten.
Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to another exciting episode of Rotten Mornings. You can tell we're super excited to be here. I'm Scott.
I'm Matt.
I'm Brandy.
And we have Brandy joining us today, so it's a threesome.
That's right, we've got all three of the rock people here. Oh, fuck, I put a hole in my shirt. Never mind.
You just put a hole in your shirt?
No, earlier I did.
In the middle of us recording, you put a hole in your shirt?
It's horrible.
Well, we've got a couple of really cool things to talk about. We were up very, very late last night. I know a lot of you probably were as well going into the weekend. So we're pretty tired. So if we make a misstep, we will go and make a misstep anyway.
It's probably your fault.
Yeah, that's
the person
probably
listening, it's your fault that we misstepped, and thanks for that.
So let's talk about yesterday's programming. I don't think we have any fact-checking from the Rotten Mornings.
No, I think everything was good on that.
What was the Henry Wells episode?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah.
That was one of our longest episodes.
It was like 39 hours.
Ever.
It was terrible because I've listened to it 16 times.
I was literally about to say, like, how in the heck is it that we grew up to be the people that can listen to ourselves talk for hours?
I don't like it.
I love it. I love listening to myself talk. I can't get enough of me.
Brandy, do you enjoy listening to us talk?
Sometimes.
How many times through have you listened to the podcast?
I have listened to each episode at least twice, more likely 4 times.
Okay, there you go. Excellent.
Like, I don't get enough of you guys as is.
Yeah,
but,
Brandy literally hates listening to us, but she'll do it for the cause.
What's really fun is when she says, "Hey guys, stop talking. I'm trying to listen to you talk."
Yeah. I've got my headphones on. I'm getting you from both sides.
I've got stupid and stereo. Okay, so the first episode of Unfinished Reviews came out.
Let's talk about Unfinished Reviews and why we're doing Unfinished Reviews. If you have paid attention to us, last season we only got to do a couple of reviews. It was because we had a loss in the family, and we had some other situations that just basically slammed our production to an end. Which is really why we got to do the quarantine, because I felt like there was this huge lack of stuff we did. So we went back and we've got all that footage still, so we're going to release those of the haunts we went to in 2019. This episode was about Mountain Creek. We love those guys. Very awesome haunt. Always have a lot of fun out there. They do that thing where they fix up the bathroom for me, because it's another bathroom feud I have.
Sure.
So they're just like super awesome. We've seen them already at Hellbilly Hollow for their opening night.
Well, we didn't get to go to them until late in the season. They
it
had
was almost
some rain issues, and we had our issues as well. So it was, I think it was already the first weekend in November, actually, that we went out there.
So it was late, but they were still giving it all they got.
Yeah, they were, and we enjoyed it.
So one of the things that was really neat about that review, and I don't know that we had a chance to talk about it, the first time you reviewed it, you guys had some kind of weird things happen and all of that. So you guys were excited to go back out to the second time to see what had changed and the different things that you could see out there. And in that review, it sounded like it's just coming
100%.
Oh, they completely revamped
when we do reviews, of course, we do kind of powder some of our reviews. We don't want to just be like, oh, they were horrible or trash, blah, 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 blah. But there are some very key points that we want to hit to make sure that haunts, we want to do stuff that helps the haunt.
Sure.
I like other people seeing our reviews and going, oh, I want to go there because I saw your review. But really and truly, our review is about your haunt. It's about who you are, how you did. And we don't believe we're geniuses.
No,
but
we just want to share with you the customer's experience.
Yeah, and we have a different perspective than probably anybody you're going to cross paths with.
Well, guys, you heard it here. No one considers us geniuses.
Yes.
Not at all.
And so, talking to them and saying like, hey, this was a little issue we saw. When we went back, they had legitimately addressed those exact issues.
And every one.
I could not say the same thing twice there.
Even the stuff we said they did good on, they still went above and beyond to improve on that.
And they
as
are
well.
so receptive to info about their haunt too. So one of them up there with some of the most receptive people.
They actually have been asking us to come out early in the season this year, specifically because they want us to tell them what they can work on.
And they want us to go and do a paranormal investigation.
Oh, yes,
Mountain
that too.
Creek is
haunted. It's one of the few haunts that we get to go to that's haunted. And hopefully in the unfinished reviews we'll do my visit to Columbiana Manor.
Yes.
Which is another of the haunted haunts that we go to. Really, really cool stuff. Okay, so we had that, and then we had the episode of Rotten Strips.
Right,
episode
and
2.
We're going to have to take the reins here because this was Scott's episode, and he's going to need some puffing. We were honestly blown away by how, great. I know, it's really hard for me to review it to the audience and say, oh, we really enjoyed it, but it was great. We
loved it.
It had all the pacing. We were laughing. We were confused. We were wondering who you stole the footage from. And it was amazing. It was really good. And you guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but you're going to have to watch all of these to really get the whole story. That was a to be continued. And that is marketing at its finest.
Yeah, that it was a lot of fun to shoot. And I think one of the things that I'm going to try to do with Rotten Strips and we may see this coming up in future episodes is a little bit more of what we do, the special effects and the makeup and stuff.
Yes.
We do a lot of that stuff, and we don't always, when we get to film, we sometimes just grab a camera and then film a bush for 74 minutes.
It's funny how that number keeps getting bigger.
Yeah, every time I watch it, it gets longer. It's weird. It's almost supernatural.
Yeah, I mean, I would say personally, I think his episode was so well crafted that you as an audience will not notice where he stretched things out to kill some time. But I did. Right there in between the little spot.
It's really funny that you say that because every time I hear my voice go, the secret of the core. I'm like, wow, that's super obvious.
That's eight seconds I just killed. Boom! In the can. In the can.
We are not used to filming on a time frame, and it's something that has been a personal challenge that we've kind of taken the reins on here. We often will film shorter pieces or incredibly longer pieces. So having a specific time frame is really kind of a fun challenge that we're kind of taking.
And remember this for the at-home viewing or listening audience. We filmed these pretty much day before or day of the episode comes out. So, I mean, we're creative.
Well, let's face it. Each of us is very good at creating challenges for ourselves.
Yeah, that's if we were good at one thing, it would be making our life more challenging.
That's right. And the one thing that we're bad at, I mean, we're going to have to say the cons. We're bad at facing filming those challenges.
Yeah. Filming things.
No, I disagree. I highly disagree with that. We are bad in achieving the goals we thought we were aiming for, but we tend to achieve good ones and love them, so.
Fair enough. Well, that was yesterday's broadcasting. If you guys got to see some of the live, we had a live feed going later on in the evening, and we're going to try to do more of those. sometimes if we get caught up in a haunt or we get something going on, those may come out a little bit later. But guys, stay tuned, because getting this out to you and having something for you to interact with and for us to interact with you, it's really why we do this and our most fun we have doing this.
Bar none, the most important thing for us is to get you entertainment. It just so happens that while collecting entertainment, time passes, and we can't keep the time still to collect the entertainment and then give it to you. But if we could freeze time, get all the entertainment we could out of that, split second, we would bring it to you even faster.
That's right. The next episode will be 1 second.
Well, I'd
Pure
say
entertainment.
throughout the night at the haunt we were at, every time I looked at my phone, it was like a time warp had happened and 2 or 3 hours had disappeared.
It's like, yeah, Scott, we'll be there at 10 o'clock. And then it was 1:30.
These things happen.
No. It was after 2.
So, before we leave this section, I do want to talk about what we've got coming up today.
Indeed.
Yes.
Let me grab the calendar to figure out what we've got coming up today.
So, already coming up, right after this section, we're going to have the supernatural portion of the Rotten Mournings podcast. And we're really excited about that because it's a story that we're all really, really fascinated with. After that, Matt, what do we got?
After that, we have the second episode of Unfinished. No, it's Saturday. Oh,
Hey!
And right after that, coming here at 5 o'clock today, we have the first episode of Rotten House, which is a DIY show of me working on different stuff that we put decoration-wise around
Can't
our
wait
house.
to film that.
Yeah. After that, we will have the second episode of Unfinished Reviews, and if I'm not mistaken, that is the Spook Trail.
Oh.
Haunted Maze. And of course, we will have I can't wait for you guys to see what I put together for my episode tonight.
I also can't wait to
cannot
see
wait
it.
to see what you plan on putting together for our episode tonight.
And then, of course, after that, we will probably be going live from Hellbilly Hollow tomorrow night.
Cool, guys. So that's what we've got coming up.
Tonight.
Oh, boy.
Man, wow. It's tonight. So, yes, that is tonight.
Excellent. We almost got through the whole thing without saying the wrong day. And that's okay. So,
I'm
guys,
seeing a theme here.
you know what's coming up. Stay tuned after the quick break, and we'll return with a scary supernatural story. Stay rotten. In July of 1954, a man appeared at the Haneda Airport in Japan. When asked for his country of origin, he informed them he was from the country of Taured, to which the officials replied, "There is no such country." He showed them his passport, which showed him to be from the country of Taured and had various stamps where he had done much international travel. When asked his business there, he claimed to be having a meeting. When they called that place of business, that place had never heard of him. Similarly, the hotel he was checked into had never heard of him, and the checkbook he had belonged to a bank that did not exist. Uncertain what to do with him, they put him in a room, and he was guarded by custom officials all evening. The next morning, they go in, and the man from Taured had disappeared. Okay, so that's the story of the man from Taured. That's kind of interesting, huh?
That's wild.
Yeah.
That I don't personally think I've ever heard that before. That's crazy. But I do have a bit of an opinion on the story.
Well, I'd love to hear it.
People surmise that realities and atomic structures, well, let's go all the way down. Mass is energy condensed to a slow vibration, yes?
Okay.
Because mass becomes that. Mass is constantly vibrating like energy.
Sure.
If you come from a massive energy from a place, the massive energy that you have vibrates at the exact same resonation as all the other masses in the world you come from, because that is the reason you make contact with it.
Okay, I'm following. I'm following.
This guy came from a place, because on top of our world are tons of possible worlds, and they all are vibrating at a little bit of a different frequency, and that's how they can exist on top of each other. The matter from one frequency vibrating will not interact with a matter that is vibrating at a different frequency.
Okay.
I surmise that this guy somehow broke that frequency, the stuff that he had on him and himself, somehow between leaving the hotel and showing up at the airport, that he broke that resonation, and somehow his energy and the stuff on him from that resonating world began resonating at our energy. And the reason he disappeared is because his energy went back to its natural state, and he was back in his own world again.
Yeah, it's really interesting that you bring that up. There's been several other stories. I remember the story of this man who walked out of a store into what appeared to be a different decade. Mm-hmm. And then turns around to go back in the store, and the store's not there. It always seems to happen with a singular person. Mm-hmm. There are a couple of stories, and I wish I could pull them up right now, but there are a couple of stories that did involve a couple of people.
Am I wrong about the Philadelphia experiment being something along those lines of resonating energy into a different dimension and it appearing somewhere else, like the whole plane disappeared?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely is a possibility that's what that's about.
I'm pretty sure. I don't know it was about them trying to make stealth planes, and they used a resonation in order to make them not our matter anymore. And I could be mistaken, but I think the whole point was to resonate a plane until it was invisible, because it did not exist to our energy resonation.
Well, that also would fit in with a lot of the theories surrounding the Bermuda Triangle and places like that too.
Yeah, the magnetic fields.
Yes.
That could disrupt the resonation of energy, and maybe that energy, like maybe traveling through a portal from point A to point B, is never traveling through a portal at all, but stepping through a point that disrupts your material, and you actually just become resonating in that area. So you don't portal from point A to point B. You're still where you are if you are resonating at your frequency. But since you're not, you're now in that frequency, and whatever that there is then.
And your perception has changed based on the frequency.
Yeah.
I could see that.
That is very interesting. It leads me to this thought. In the 40s and 50s, we would see a weight loss machine at the gym.
Oh, that would...
Yes, and what it would do is it would vibrate your fat into another dimension.
Yes, but synonymously, we have seen that does not work.
Yes.
That they really removed those and
because
proved...
instead it vibrates you into whiplash.
Yes, it vibrates you into having like bad intestinal damage and stuff like that. But nevertheless, that is a physical vibration. Mm-hmm. There's a difference between a vibration that is a wave, which is color, sound, energy, heat. All of those things are traveling in vibrations. We call them waves. If you look at them on a flat plane, it's a vibration. But it's still it's a wave too.
So
but
it
what
would be
if
like
those
the
waves,
difference between the different waves associated with earthquakes.
Yeah, think about it like a radio. That we are on 90.1, right? And as that dial turns, that's our resonation changing. And as you slowly move through those points, you're actually going to a completely different place, but you're never going anywhere. Your actual matter is still in the same place.
But you're reacting to a new place.
Because you have vibrated yourself into a different reality that sits on top of ours.
Okay, how do I make this work?
But
Vibrate myself into a new
vibration
reality.
it's so easy to say and take as a physical form. But a wave is a vibration. You can't see that. It's not a physical earthquake. But it still is a wave. When you go and stand in the sun,
And
you
it
are
would still have
technically being hit
impacts.
by sun rays, which are waves, which are resonations, which are just...
We haven't discussed this phenomenon that happened. We hit on it briefly, but this is a good time to throw it in. In 1954, a film came out called The Tingler. It was not successful.
This is why it is. That is what it is. This whole thing
Vibrating
is
the
just
whole-
because, like, it just kicks back to vibrating for me. So, anyways, the whole of reality is fundamentally found on the idea that my seat rattled in a theater I never went to, at a movie I never saw all the way
Well,
through.
now that we all know what you're actually afraid of, you should be very worried.
Yeah, and you go on and tell yourself that I'm actually going to tell you what I'm afraid of out of my mouth, because I'm not that dumb.
It's not a big deal. The summation of...
No, you're right.
everything-
You're right. I'm 100% with you. That is a really odd that we are now talking about vibrations in this episode.
And that you brought it up.
But nevertheless, that is
I-
still truthful to me in reality. I still believe that fundamentally, stay with me here, if I could vibrate at a little bit different vibration as this wall, I could pass right through it.
I have heard from various lady friends that there are vibrations that take them to another dimension. I can't name those dimensions. I don't think I've ever visited.
First, various. Second, friends. Third, ladies. Come on. Fundamentally bullshit statement across the board.
That's fair. I was being generous with several of those terms. I do watch The Tingler on repeat. That's all I can tell you. That's all I can tell you.
Oh, flashback
Oh,
humor.
goodness.
Guys, this has been our episode, poorly constructed,
We
about...
hoped you liked the actual story about the Traveler. It's a very interesting story. I know I kind of shanghaied the conversation into my vibration thing, but that's still a really wild story.
It
and
is.
What is the corroboration of it? What corroborates the people? Like, was it just X amount of people that were there? Were there video cameras at that time? Did anybody get
Well, it
a
was
picture of him?
1954, I believe
Like,
you said.
how is it that there is validity to it? What is if everything disappeared, what's the fact?
Well, he was still, I'm sure he still appeared to, I mean, like, the hotel people saw him, the airport people saw him. All of these people had to check his documents.
And I completely,
It was a news
100%
story.
understand that. Nevertheless, there has been multiple times that we have heard, say, alien encounters. And I know that's a little bit more
Or time travelers.
further
or-
over this way. But there is still a mass hysteria. There is still a mass hypnosis. And there is still a possibility that people will bullshit up a story also. I mean, there are so many different possibilities. I only ask because, as a skeptic of things along these lines, I can scientifically explain it, but I don't scientifically believe in it.
Endorse it.
That's totally fair. And it kind of goes along with a thing that happens to me sometimes. Sometimes when I'm talking to people about different videos that we've made, they'll say, "Oh yeah, I saw it. It was really good." Right? And then like several people will be like, "Yeah, I saw that really good episode." And I go back
And
like,
look at all of our episodes.
look at
and
all
you
of them.
cannot
I
find
can't-
the
Can't
one.
find the good
I
one.
can't. I don't. So I don't know if there's like, if that's mess like
No, I
hypnotism
think
or
that
Well,
falls
I
into the
disagree
heading of the
again.
other thing because technically
You're
since-
just vibrating at a different frequency.
maybe take the vibrator out of it.
that's the only way to watch the Tingler properly.
No, it's the thing of you going and telling them that it's good and then going to it and going like,
I can't believe
I
told
can't
them
find
this.
anything good here. What was I talking about?
It's either that or it's when they say, "Oh yeah, I saw it. It was
Oh
really
yeah,
good."
it was really good. Bless your heart.
Well, I think it's the I thought it was really good, and I'm like, "Oh, okay, you didn't watch it." So that's how I know. That's how I know.
I thought it was really good. Couple of things I would have changed. Number one, don't do it.
Yeah.
Number two,
Just
do
don't
something
it.
else. Fucking whatever.
Whatever you do, don't tell me about it. I don't want to be on your
I
train of
enjoyed
bad
it. I
things.
would only change one thing. Everything.
Yeah, that's fine. One word. One word. That's it. That's it.
I love it.
Cool, guys. Well, I hope you've had fun listening to us chitter chatter.
Deliriously.
We had a great time this early morning waking up and being able to talk to you guys. And don't forget, we will be live tonight. That is in just a amount of time at Hellbilly Hollow.
You guys have a rotten morning.
Stay rotten.
Stay rotten.